Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 17th of October. So, on this lovely day, what we've got in store? Well, news-wise, we've got nothing coming out. We've seen some weakness in some suggestions of some lapse lending, if I can only say that, in the US in some banks, and as a consequence, we've seen the markets coming off, the equity markets coming off. Now we're seeing money running to gold, silver. Apparently, as I just read, I'll see that in a minute for myself. But also, we've seen the euro pushing up there, so bonds are being bought. Well, it's not all dollar bonds by the looks of it. Anyway, let's take a look through these markets. Now, I've had a bit of a problem this morning, so it's my first look really. So we're doing it together. Right, technically then, the euro dollar seems to be continuing its shift up there. Good news for the double bottom trade. If anyone took a double bottom trade here, apparently it hit second target, so well done, Stuart. And it did it in his sleep, which is even nicer. It's always lovely waking up with a target being hit. It makes you feel like you can take the day off, which might not be a bad idea. Okay. Had a good week this week, Stuart. Right, I think. Well, partially. Right. Anyway, moving on here. So double bottom here. The euro seems to be gaining strength here. It has now run into its daily R2. It could just continue through there. As I say, dollar weakness has come through pretty quickly since that double bottom. It sort of moved up. It was a little bit hesitant yesterday, but the flag was there, but it really didn't give anything interesting during my trading session, and it did pick up, and it's sort of gone later through the Asian session. For me, it's gone. Now, something that might be coming back if we look at the pound. Here we go. Pound's also pushed up here. I'm just sort of seeing it into its quarterly pivot here and thinking, is it going to roll over a little bit more? It's I suppose in a sense it's similar to the euro. It hasn't gone up to its R2. A reversal after 8 o'clock would see that as a target, but it's air kissed its daily pivot. It could potentially come back for that with what we're seeing, which is just a bit wait see, but the overall picture still looks on the bigger scale, on the higher time frames, reasonably bullish, although it looks like it's gone into the 34 moving average, the daily 34. Maybe we will get a bit more of a reaction to this, but I don't overly like it against its current movement and the reasoning behind such. US dollar yen, well, if we can get there. There we go. We're looking for that gap fill now, guys. We're on course for it, perhaps. So lower highs, lower lows coming through here. It's just a matter of an entry. I mean, yesterday it danced around its pivot all that time. In the morning when I was looking at it, it was just into the pivot. It looked quite nice from there. Never triggered anything until, I mean, it would have triggered the low. That's 7 o'clock bar I was looking at, not until sort of 3 o'clock in the afternoon then started moving down. But all the same, if you were looking and you're around and you've got into that trade, well, the direction of this is quite lovely, and well, we could be seeing into next week perhaps now this gap filled. So it's looking good from where it sits at the moment, but it's a matter of getting into a trade. At the moment it's just selling off. I don't like selling into what potentially could be a bottom, so need to retrace into something. The Australian dollar, this is going the opposite way to everything else. Continuing to remain quite weak here. The jobs report didn't help yesterday, etc. But well, it never got into any movement with it like anything else, and we're seeing just a sell-off here with gold, etc. apparently pushing to all new time highs. surely we would see a benefit to the Aussie dollar, but it looks that's not the case at the moment. It can be a funny old one, the Aussie dollar, and start moving when everything else is dumping. It starts pulling up again. Also, the US dollar CAD, well, that's also weak. It seems that the commodities currency is not really doing too much. This isn't really going anywhere, and in fact weakening. Don't like this still. Still don't like it. New Zealand dollar, and it's glad I still don't like it because I'm still not in it, and it's still not gone anywhere. New Zealand dollar. This is more has more potential for continuation of the downside as well. Funny enough, it's not the prettiest here on the 4-hourly, but you've still got these lower highs, lower lows kicking through. Actually, what happened? Have I just deleted? Oh, there it is. I've managed to. My system's a little bit wobbly today. There we go. Let's pop it back in there. 60 minute looked ugly yesterday, and well, it remained ugly. Maybe this could roll over and sell off again. I'm not overly keen on it. Dollar Swissy, well, the dollar's seeing selling. Let's just hopefully it will load up in a moment. This is going all a bit slow. Here we go. Wow is all I can say there. Continuing the move down to the downside here, looking very weak at this stage, but trying to get into something like this is, again, it's one of those, bit like the yen, you just want to retrace, need a solid retrace to come into play and look at it, see if we can catch on to something like that. But for now, this too went yesterday, later on, but it was showing the signs. You just got to watch these currencies, that safety currencies. Anyway, that's gone. So it certainly looks like the dollar's losing some ground there, guys. As you probably noticed. Let's go and have a look at the other end of the markets and look at gold. It's up 0.8 today, so at the moment, he says, hoping that in a moment I'm going to get gold. I've pressed the button. Press it again. There we are. Okay. Let's have a look at the dailies first. So, daily wise, then today, Friday the 17th. Yep, it's made new highs. Struggling on the shorter term. Yesterday, it looked a bit iffy at one stage, but it again carried on. We see this sort of in the morning sometimes. It was coming back a little bit there yesterday morning, then put that little move in, but well, just broke and went. We could see similar here. We haven't got divergence because we haven't got we haven't got new highs yet as such on this part of the price action, but obviously it came through in the earlier session there. Still got potential for this just to carry on running. God knows what price they're putting on gold, on silver. I was just told someone's putting $100 on silver. Just as I think of getting rid of some of my damaged silver bars, got oxygen to them. Yeah, it's where it's going, isn't it? It too is just pushing up there. Sometimes if you've got something you never know where the top is, do you? Until it's no longer making tops, and it shows you a lower high, really. Anyway, silver's still pushing up. Nothing to add to that, really. So not from here. It's certainly not a buy from here, but perhaps it's not a sell yet either. I'll hang on to the silver. Get that family silver out, guys. The light crude, lower highs, lower lows here, selling off here strongly still. Normally when we see a weaker dollar, we see crude oil prices rise, but on this occasion, well, certainly not. It's continuing to push off there. Potential peace in the Middle East, etc. Talks with Russia. All this probably softening the risk out there as well. Anyway, just didn't like it yesterday. It did eventually start going in the afternoon there, but right. Equity markets, S&Ps then down 0.7 this morning. There we go. That's looking ugly. So looking ugly here on the dailies even. It's back to its daily 50. Is this going to be the sort of news that causes it to have a bigger correction? We'll see. But there's, well, it hasn't hit the pivot today, so a break of the S1 at some point, and ideally this afternoon, would see that S1, and you see that big white line underneath. That's the quarterly pivot. That could be a draw. Let's just come back for a 4-hourly and look at that quarterly pivot if I can. Where are you? There we are. There could be a draw down to that sort of level on the sell side, maybe even more. FTSE down 0.5% this morning. It's good. All the equity markets are going together. Lower highs, lower lows all the way through this. It looked ugly yesterday, and it is ugly now. But again, we're through the S1, almost into the S2. My favourite DAX is down the second most. Nasdaq's down actually the most. This is down the second most. I was looking at this yesterday, and well, it finally properly went there. Went in the morning too quickly. I talked about this. If it goes too early in the morning, don't touch it. Well, that was a good move not to. It did actually go off later on. It's going now, and it's maybe see a bit more reaction as we run in through the 8 o'clock. But again, not yet. It's my usual thing at this time of the morning. Give it a bit of time. Let it get past the open. Right. Okay. So lots of movement there already happened. At this moment, I think I'm probably going to be sitting on this week's profits and hold fire. I don't want to give it back Friday. It's the worst thing ever, is to have a reasonable week and then give it back. So the DAX has been good to me. I'll look at it later, but not now. As I say, other markets, there's potential there, but we need the retraces on the likes of the US dollar, yen. I'd like to see a retrace in this, maybe to sell into, and then consider positioning a little bit, probably more so next week if we can, to the gap there. Not moving anywhere at the moment. Maybe it'll do it now. US dollar, yen. Yeah, ideally need a bit of a retrace, but not happening at the moment. Right, I shall leave you there and wish you a good day's trade. In fact, look, it's tanking, and so I'm looking at it on the 15-minute bar, and it's just absolutely flying at the moment. But